Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit! Oh, look, Shannon Q Ducklips is on with the Prophet of Zod.
Oh, so she went from one dumb program to another.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not that smart.
Do you think she's just a pretty face to the atheist? Darth, did you hear my question?
No, I didn't.
I said, do you think she's just a pretty face to the atheist since you say she's not that smart?
No, she's not. I mean, she's not. She's not. Literally retarded, but she's not nearly as smart as she thinks she is or she pretends to be. And how do I know that? Look at the way she conducted herself while interacting with me. Okay, she completely imploded. Okay, so she has the gift for gab. She makes an attempt, like a TV soap opera actress, to sound smart, but she's not that smart. No, what a lot of these atheists have going for them is not so much that they're really smart; it's they have an attitude. Okay.
But then it's just the same thing over and over again. They just are arrogant, smug, condescending.
Oh, the arrogance, the arrogance and the smugness is one of the major fuels that keep them going. Right. Look, this is why I have contempt for them across the board. They're not impressive. I'm not even impressed with the PhD atheists that I've encountered. Not that I have greater intelligence or academic achievement in terms of their knowledge base in their respective discipline, but when it comes to atheism, they're on the level playing field with me before God. Right? So I'm not impressed in that respect with their academic achievements, while at the same time I'm not throwing them under the bus and saying that their academic achievements are not worthy of respect. It's just that their academic achievements do not rectify their utter foolish position of atheism. Here, somebody call into the line and ask Shannon Q how she knows there's no God, because she was just on Myth Vision saying that she's nearly certain there's no God.
All right.
Okay, she was on Myth. Let's see. They probably have me blocked.
I should be the one to call in because she's spoken to me before. She might be more receptive to talking to me.
I posted it in Atheist Helpline. Yeah, she was on Myth Vision the other day stating that she, with near certitude, believed there's no God. Now, let's see if she lies through her teeth, which I highly suspect she'll do.
Wait, Tonlock, you're going to call in? Is Tonlock calling in?
Yeah, she knows who I am.
Oh.
Unless you just want to call her. I don't care. You want to call her?
See, this is the thing about these. This is the thing about these atheist call-in shows. They can railroad you right off the show because they control the microphones. They control the mute button. Okay.
Oh, you can go ahead and call her, dude. I'll just watch. That's fine with me.
You can call in because it's.
All right. I'm about to call her right now. Then hold on.
Yeah, I'll tune in.
One more time, Darth. What show did she say she's nearly certain there's no God?
Myth Vision. And she was on that a few days ago. And on there, she stated that she has almost near certainty that there's no God.
So should I just ask her why did she say she has near certainty, or just ask her why there's no God?
Yeah, so no, just say you were on the Myth Vision show a few days ago, and you stated that. Here, hold on, let me just find out the date. Okay, it was 2 weeks ago. Okay, it was March 11th.
Or should I juxtapose that with her once saying that she was a temporal agnostic? No, I think that's just too much. I'll just ask her about the no God thing. I'll know what to say. I'm about to call the show right now.
Just channel your inner Darth Dawkins. I'm going to play this for you.
How is it?
Unlock, listen.
Atheism.
I
actively don't believe that a God is possible based on any philosophical definitions I've been exposed to.
She just says no. She believes no God is possible. Okay.
And I think that if somebody could come up with a philosophical definition that made sense, I would be forced to believe it because it would be by definition true. But any attempt to define something like a God is a failure to me, to the point that I don't even know what somebody would mean when they say God. And most people, when they say God, have this tacit assumption that we all have this knowledge of what that must mean, and that knowledge is just comprised of a series of presuppositional assumptions that don't really provide a rational definition. So I would be on the hard atheism side of things, where...
Did you hear that?
Yes, I got it.
Presuppositional assumptions that don't really provide a rational definition. So I would be on the hard atheism side of things, where I think that it's not even necessarily possible.
Okay. At the 21-minute mark on March 11th, she said that she's on the hard atheist side.
But I like I like the chart. It's interesting.
Okay, I'll repeat that again. She says she's on the hard atheist side.
It's not even necessarily conceivably possible, but I like I like the chart. It's interesting. It's very cool. I like the belief in the non-existence of gods is probably where I would fall there.
Belief in the non-existence of God. So she believes that God does not exist. It is not that she's unconvinced that God exists. She believes God does not exist.
Non-belief in the existence of God. Where do you fall on that?
Okay.
Oh, I'd love
one more time, please.
What show is she calling?
Not even necessarily conceivably possible, but I like I like the chart. It's interesting. It's very cool. I like the belief in the non-existence of gods is probably where I would fall there. Non-belief in the existence of God. Where do you fall on that?
Okay, so she said she was a hard atheist. She said that she believes that every definition of God given so far is impossible, and she believes in the non-existence of God.
Yeah, I got it.
So if she tries this crap and says, I'm unconvinced, I don't have a positive belief in God, but I don't deny. She just admitted at the 21-minute mark that she's a hard atheist and that she believes in the non-existence of God. Now, do not let her rabbit trail you on knowledge. Focus on belief, okay? She believes in the non. So what is your rational justification for believing there is no God? Now, I can almost guarantee you that she's going to try to bamboozle you with lacktheism, okay? But you just listen to it. She said she's a hard atheist. She said that all definitions of God given so far are impossible. And she said that she, again, being a hard atheist, believes in the non-existence of God. She positively believes there's no God. So either she has a rational basis for believing there is no God, or her believing there is no God is irrational.
So I call that. I'm about to call in right now.
But I see some forms of Christians who are very aggressive and want to come at you and be disrespectful. And then there are a lot who think that's not okay.
Call failed to connect because the number was busy. Call failed to connect because the number is busy. Yeah, I can't get through. Yeah, Shannon, you are a jerk. Oh, gosh, this guy has diarrhea of the mouth.
Don't suck!
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces to that, I guess.
Such a bimbo.
And I hear you saying different things, which
Here we go with this guy, Prophet of Zod. He's presenting lacktheism. These people are so full of crap.
Satanism is a religion that is atheistic. Some Buddhist practices are religions that are atheistic. You can have a look and see where you land there and explore more. That's one of the beauties of being an atheist,
she's so
you
dumb.
don't need to land in it.
It's painful to listen to her. They're just making this crap up as they go along. And you see, every time they shoot their mouth off about what is, can be, or cannot be, okay, they're violating their own edictum. Okay, demonstrate it, right? You want the Bible to be demonstrated? You want God to be demonstrated? Good. Demonstrate everything you just said. The answer is they can't. They are full of crap. Yeah, Shannon Q is a couple of IQ points above a Valley girl.
What sources would she be talking about for the worldview of I don't know?
Yeah, look. She just has diarrhea of the mouth. She doesn't say anything substantive. She has a stream of consciousness. She's just a couple of IQ points above a Valley girl. All right. How long do you think she could last if a moderator made it so that she couldn't troll? Okay, she'd be annihilated.
She would just.
See, the reason why she went to trolling and defamation when she interacted with me is because she could not defend herself. Okay? So she had to change the subject and smear me. Because she believed in her own mind she couldn't defend herself.
That, and you weren't going to allow her to just blow the 8 on end like she's doing here.
She's not. Look, she's not that smart. Okay. Yeah, I think. You know, she's also not honest. She told me she's a temporal agnostic. She told the guy at Myth Vision, you know, that she's a hard atheist. She believes in the non-existence of God. And if she was confronted about that now, you know what she'll probably say? She'll probably say, "Oh, well, I've moved away from temporal agnosticism into atheism." Yeah, well, what she refers to, there's a lot more of them becoming us. What she's failing to understand is these are not true believers. See, this just shows you the shallowness of her understanding of biblical theology.
Yeah, her stating garbage like, "Oh, once I found issues with the Bible." No, you just weren't a believer to be.
Look, this is why they control these microphones the way they do. Okay, if they have a competent Christian apologist, would rip them to pieces. These people are not that smart. Look, in the last 3 weeks, I've just tangled on Discord with around 6 PhD atheists who are world famous for being atheists, and every single one of them folded. Now, explain that. Is it because Darth Dawkins is a genius? No, it's because I asked the right questions. You know what? I got to change her name from Shannon Q Ducklips to Miss North Carolina 2007. South Carolina. Yeah, we got to call. We got to call Shannon Q Ducklips is Miss Teen South Carolina 2007. The Iraq. Right? Is that a good fitting moniker? Miss Teen South Carolina 2007.
You know, Zod, we invited Zod to come on Reformation server to talk about his lack of belief, right? And he wasn't having it. He wouldn't even respond to it.
When was this?
This was yesterday on that other stream where he was in the comment section of YouTube.
Yeah, they're cowards. Okay, they're factless cowards. They want to control the way the conversation goes. Okay, so that if they get into trouble, they can just ramrod. Right? Look at what Miss Teen South Carolina 2007 Shannon Q Ducklips did to Otangelo. Okay, when he had them cornered, look what she did to him. Right?
Oh yeah, pissed her off. She couldn't tango with it.
No, what she then would no. She tried to change
Now I
the
wanna talk to
parameters
Tom-
of the
Tom Luck?
conversation
Tom Luck? Let's talk to Tom.
to railroad
See,
him in
I
a
think I
different
pressed the right button
direction.
this time too.
right?
I'm almost certain I did.
And then
Hello,
she,
what would you like to talk about today?
yeah, and that
Hi,
was
Tom Luck.
that was her
hello, can you
Emmy-winning
hear me?
performance of righteous
Yes, I
indignation.
can. What would you like to talk about?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
But for now, it's Shannon
hear you.
Q. Ducklips, Miss Teen,
I
South
don't know if you
Carolina,
remember me.
2007.
It's been around a few years since we've talked. This is actually
Listen to her
nickname
talk
night.
about herself there.
So you would actually know me by Antonio. Do you remember me,
I
Shannon?
can't.
Oh yes, hi Antonio. How are you?
Can you believe
Yes,
what
I do,
she
of course.
just?
You and I talked about an abortion a
Tom
long
Luck's
time
on.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
Todd, can you stream?
yeah, that was like 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
For sure.
I was checking out this stream. You're on Myth Vision on March 11th, and there was a couple of
Oh,
things
wow.
that really
Very
stuck out to me.
specific.
About 3 things actually.
Okay.
So, but my question was pretty much that no definition of God that you've heard is coherent, and you said that you are a hard atheist, and also that you would fall on the side of the positive belief that there is no God. So simply, my question is this: why do you taking all these things into account, why do you positively assert that there's no God?
Because I don't think that it's logically possible. Because every definition of God I've seen is rife with inconsistencies. And when you take it one step further and try to make it comport with a religious belief system, then those inconsistencies multiply.
Yeah, that's
to
a
the point
bogus
that
response.
I don't
That's total
even
garbage.
understand what somebody means when they attempt to define a God. And if somebody could define a God in such a way that it was logically consistent, I would be forced to believe it as a result.
She's just regurgitating
So,
what
would you
she
like
said
to
on
try?
Myth Vision.
Yeah. I just have a quick question about that. Can you tell me what fundamentally and ultimately on an ontological scale secures what is impossible?
I don't know that I fully understand what you're asking me.
Are you basically
Right.
asking what she
Like,
determines is impossible?
Yeah. If you say
how does
something is
she decide what's
impossible-
impossible? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. If you say something is impossible, that would fall in terms of an ontological issue, because there would have to be something ultimate that is the standard of what's possible and what's not. There will have to be something that secures it.
Okay, I think
So
I see what
there's
you're saying.
something specific that secures what is impossible and what's not.
When it pertains to a definition of God, that's a good question, actually. But maybe I'll shift to plausible.
Oh, I would rip her to pieces if I was on.
Oh, so you're not saying
me,
that God is impossible as defined. Now you're talking about plausibility.
Sure, yeah. But the rest of what I said still stands with just that word changed. I still actively believe that there is no God, and I don't think a definition of a God is plausible.
Yeah, he just nailed her.
Are you
So,
trying to pick
yeah, so
apart
that's
my position, or are you attempting to demonstrate that God exists? Because a quick way to tear me to pieces would be just to provide a definition of God that refutes me.
Yeah.
Hello?
I'm just wondering. I'm just touching on your statement that you positively believe there is no God. You would
I
clearly
do.
have a reason for that. So I just want to know what that would be.
Because I don't even know what anybody means when they say God.
That doesn't
could
follow
you
from that
demonstrate to
there's
me
no
what
God.
you mean when you say
Okay,
God?
now she's flip flopping.
By
You know what?
providing
She's
me
a
a
bimbo.
definition?
So a quick point.
Okay.
I'm not
Is it a
saying I
definition
can't
of God?
coherently
Because that'll do
define
it.
what God. Yeah, I'm not saying I
Okay.
cannot coherently define God, but why I will say is this as a quick side point.
Okay.
If nobody coherently defines God to you, that does not entail logically and necessarily there is no God.
Does anybody coherently define God to anyone ever? Is there a
she's
coherent
such a
definition of
she's
God?
such a bimbo.
So
What is
I'm
God?
saying is the definition, whatever you hear, has nothing to do with the existence of God as an actual entity. But the definition of God that I would use is an entity that is fundamental to all temporal states of affairs. God himself is not temporal. He is eternal and does not depend upon anyone or anything else. He is ultimate and fundamental to all temporal facts.
Okay, so a God is fundamental. That's the entirety of the definition of God, is that a thing that exists that is fundamental to all temporal facts.
Right. That's not himself. See, he is the only self-sustaining, eternal, eternal fact of existence.
Yeah. How is that
fundamentally
incoherent?
ultimate, meaning that he is not dependent upon anyone or anything else, and everything else is dependent upon him.
So he's on contingent. He's dependent on nothing. He exists outside of time. The time relies upon him somehow. Right.
Yeah, time is just how we conceptualize change. So everything
why is
that
he
is not
necessary?
himself is dependent upon God.
Why is he necessary?
Okay,
Is he
now
necessary?
notice what she's doing. She's not defending her atheism.
Yeah,
Well,
she's trying to act.
that's just the basic fundamental nature of who he is. Because
Bill, that's not really a good explanation. Why is he necessary? Is he not necessary?
What she has to do is show why
that's his fundamental nature. That's just who he is by definition.
But why? Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would something be necessary by definition?
I gotta get on the show.
From your perspective, if there is this being that we call God, it would be by definition necessary.
Why would it be by definition necessary? See,
So
where
if you
it's starting to not make any sense.
then by definition it's necessary.
Because its essential properties and its essential properties and attributes, by definition.
What essential properties and
exactly
attributes? What essential properties and attributes?
But he's right. That he's an eternal being. That he is.
How is he eternal if he exists outside of time?
She's
okay, so he exists outside of time, and he's always existed.
Yeah, this is
but
classic.
That doesn't make him necessary. Could something exist outside of time that always existed that isn't necessary?
Well, logically,
see, if I was calling it, this wouldn't happen.
Because there is no other factors that require him to be. He's just self-contained. Here's what it's called. I say he possesses aseity, necessarily self-contained.
The mistake Tom Lock's doing here is he's not giving a minimalist definition of God and then asking her to show how that's false.
You didn't even answer the question.
You see, he's fallen prey to them putting him on the defensive.
Non-temporal that could be not necessary. And you just said, well, but he's necessary because I've assigned him these attributes, and one of the attributes I've assigned him is necessary. You haven't demonstrated why he's necessary.
Well, he just defined it.
Well, I've given you his essential attributes. Like if something is a temporal being,
how did you determine what the essential attributes were?
Hold on, just real quick. If something is a temporal being, it would depend upon something else. It would be dependent. It would be a contingent entity. If something is not a temporal being,
you see how he's being rabbit trailed.
Logical necessity that being would be definitionally not dependent.
Tom needs to be like, yo,
something being not dependent means that it's necessary.
Isn't necessary. A contingent being is temporal. A non-contingent being like God is necessary, fundamentally and definitionally.
I don't accept
you see, he's allowing them to derail.
He doesn't accept what you said.
You're saying a non-temporal being exists, so a being exists outside of time and reality as we know it. And
the
also
question is, how does she
instantiate
her not God worldview
that you've provided thus far? Is that
she turned the tables on him,
and then an assertion that it's necessary.
Well,
and then nothing follows from that. Why did it create that?
I've given you his essential properties and attributes, and you still have a claim laid on the table that I haven't heard an answer for. Why you positively believe there's no God?
Because none of this is making any sense to me. You still haven't provided a definition that makes sense to me.
The fact that something. Oh my God, she's such a.
I think there's one other thing. If I can step in.
Wait a second. Didn't you hear me say earlier that
I've waited a lot of seconds
even
so
in
far.
the case that nobody gives you a coherent definition of God, that does not mean that there is no God.
Sure, I already conceded that.
That's an unrelated issue. But I did give you a coherent definition.
She's
of
a
God.
moron.
Whether you accept it or not is beside the point.
You didn't give me a coherent definition of God.
I gave you a definition of God that he is fundamental to all temporal states of affairs, and that's how he is, definitionally and logically speaking.
But that's incoherent to me. Why?
How is it incoherent? That's a vacuous statement. It's incoherent. Did she explain how it's incoherent? Yeah, you just asserted it's incoherent without showing how it's incoherent.
You're asserting that something that we can't see exists outside of space and time, and then nothing follows from that.
Well, the
like it's still nonsense.
Is within the necessity of his own nature. God does not function and act.
Yeah, see, Tom Locke has allowed her to distract him and derail him.
Any other facts of existence.
Go ahead, Doug. Accurate.
Yeah, what you're bringing us is just a list of theological statements that we have no reason to believe are true.
Okay, that is
irrelevant. Oh, that's so irrelevant.
Yeah, it is relevant. The issue is she believes that no God exists. We have yet to hear a case for that.
I'm talking about the definition part. Like she was saying, like definition.
Like anybody could make up a list
never,
of
a
description of something that they're saying
exists. Doesn't mean it's incoherent.
Yeah, this is why when you call in, you have to remain focused, and you can't allow them to derail you. They're totally derailing the question.
But let's just set aside that question. I don't care if it's coherent. Your ability to describe something coherent, anybody could describe something that's internally logically coherent if they're careful enough and refine their process of describing it. But number one, we don't have any reason to think that any of that stuff you said is true. It just shows potentially a lot of imagination.
Now all he's offering is lacktheism.
And second,
he is not defending that no God exists.
A lot of those traits. All right. A lot of those traits you're giving me.
They muted him.
I have no reason to think that anything could be eternal, that any logical being could exist eternally, that any thinking thing could exist outside time. So I have until what's that?
What's your argument for that? That there cannot be an ultimate and eternal mind that exists removed from time, what we conceptualize as change. What is your argument for that?
I'm not so sure I said that there could not be possibly such
Shannon
a thing.
did.
I'm saying that I have never seen such a thing like that, so I have no reason to...
See, this is why you got to remain focused.
Okay? Number one, it does...
He's derailing
some logical problems. The idea of a thinking being existing outside time and thinking without a progression of time being part of that process, that yes, that might be theoretically possible, but all you can do is assert it's possible without being able to describe or defend or much less demonstrate the mechanics of how that happened. And
again,
so
I say outside of time, time is only how we conceptualize change. All you're telling me is God is outside how we conceptualize change. So what? I mean, that doesn't mean that
you're telling me that God's outside how we conceptualize change.
We don't think he's anywhere.
Shannon asserts the positive belief that there is no God, and I haven't heard an argument for why that is.
Because I don't have
let me give you an analogy for this.
Yeah, she's Miss South Carolina, 2007.
There are all kinds of possibilities. And so what happens is when people believe in something as strongly as they believe in Christianity.
You see how when they control the parameters of the interaction, how they completely derail it?
And maybe even something that...
All of this is a derailment from the original question.
Stated non-belief. They come at them with way too many expectations and ask them to justify a very natural response that we have to a lot of things. So, for example, if I told you, do you believe in vampires?
It's hard to listen to Zod
maybe
talk.
you lack belief in it.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't.
This is just monologuing. It's not addressing the issue. This is just their usual atheist script. It's not addressing the question.
Build a very coherent set of attributes of vampires that's totally cohesive. It totally makes sense. Sure, it includes things like it can exist eternally. It needs blood to survive. It can't be in sunlight. It has a problem with...
Notice this is just a wall of words. They're running the clock out.
I've never seen anything that behaves like that. Now, you could say, why are you asserting that nothing
This is all an enemy winning a performance,
well,
a pretense that they're
give
addressing
you a
the question,
reason
and they're
why
not.
I can actively
This is
say
just
nothing
Charlie
like that
Brown's
ever
teacher
could.
talking.
So to that extent, me saying I have a positive non-belief in vampires, if you really want to dig down to the nitty-gritty, could seem a little like an unjustified position. But I've never seen anything like that in my life. It smacks of having been made up by people.
Notice that they're going to their usual atheist script. They're not addressing the question. Shannon took positive atheism. There is no God. The fact that she hasn't heard a coherent explanation from God doesn't mean that there is no God, okay? So she flips and flaps between positive atheism, that there is no God, and then she goes to atheism. Atheism is not the same thing as positive atheism. So she flipped and she flopped. She's a bimbo.
And so for what's your actual definition of what's possible? You're basically bringing too much baggage into a very natural reaction to something somebody has never seen, has no reason to think is plausible. And
you see how they run the clock out on you?
Vampires might even have might have a stated belief that they don't exist just because their property
I haven't
seems
heard anything
so
of substance out of this guy yet.
No, neither from her.
Perfectly okay that we have that same lack of belief in God, even if we call it a stated non-belief. So I think that
I have a question.
There's way too. I mean, even if somebody says define.
Yeah, what he's doing is he's giving a community college lecture. He's not addressing the question.
Vampire doesn't mean there's one out there. Well, great. What am I supposed to do with that? Like, there's a lot of expectations of non-believers here that would be absurd if applied to any other situation, and there's a reason they'd be absurd if applied to any other situation, which is that
this guy
it just belies our natural response to things we haven't believed. And so,
yeah, it makes you want to throat.
Nitpick that to the point it does is because belief in this one particular thing has taken such a prevalent hold on.
So you notice how she flipped and she flopped. She made a positive statement for atheism. Then when it came time for her to defend that there is no God, then she flipped to atheism, okay? That, every definition I've heard is not coherent. I haven't heard a coherent definition. Okay, fine. It doesn't mean that there's no God, okay?
She hasn't even told us why the definition that she doesn't like
Is it not
isn't
the case that
coherent.
both of those propositions require justification?
What do you mean by God?
Okay. Before we even go down that route, let's.
You should just simply say, God is that which is fundamental and is the source of possibility and is a mind.
Analogy: if somebody actively asserts there are vampires and you actively assert there are not,
this is a category error.
Would you see?
This is a complete category error, and it's a non sequitur.
And maybe the one person's active belief that there aren't.
You see how they dominate the conversation and they railroad you off from the original topic? This is what they do.
She has the positive belief that there is no God. And I haven't heard of argument for why there is no God. I'm still haven't heard.
What do you mean by God?
I've defined God multiple times.
Yeah.
What definition did I give you? Please
something that exists outside of temporal reality.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Something that exists outside of time. Something that exists outside of temporal reality and is evidently
this
necessary
atheism
by
is
definition.
just a little game that they're playing. She's lying.
Okay, is that all I said?
Yep. Because I stopped at necessary by definition, because then you just started saying a bunch of stuff that I don't think justifies that.
Now, what else did I say about the properties of God when I define them?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Stop arguing about the definition of it.
Okay, so I think you need to listen a bit more carefully. So
I think that you need to watch your tone with me. Antonio, you and I have had a decent relationship. No, I will not.
Here comes the righteous.
Hold on.
Here's the
you and
righteous
I have had a decent
indignation.
relationship in the past, and I've given concessions as a result of that because I do like you. But do not condescend to me as though my niceness means that I will not hold my own ground. You ready to keep going?
Look. I'm not trying.
I will not speak to you like that, and you will not speak to me like that. Those are the boundaries.
See here, this is another This is another Emmy-winning performance. It's fake righteous indignation to derail the conversation.
That I am
exactly
established.
what she's doing.
I'm really not. Okay, that's fine. I'm really not trying to.
I can see. I can also hear the Discord clicking in the background, so I recognize that you probably have a group of people in a chat right now that are cheering you on. I am not a moron. So,
yes, you are, bitch.
would you like to continue this conversation
Guess what?
respectfully?
She's
Would
pissed
you
because
like
they
to
just told her in
continue
an
this
earpiece that
conversation
they
respectfully? I
reported
can
to
hear
her
the
that we're
Discord
in
clicking,
here.
Antonio.
This
I'm
is
not
why
an
she's
idiot.
pissed.
Would you like to continue this
I know-
conversation respectfully?
Okay.
You hear that? She's pissed because she knows that he's a part of my Discord server. This is why she's pissed.
Have this dialogue with me, and we will keep going.
Okay,
Do not condescend me, so
this
that the people around you can cheer you on.
See, what she's doing right now.
She said, "I can hear the Discord." Okay, somebody in her earpiece has reported to her because there are people who listen in here and then they report. They reported to her that he's a part of our Discord. Okay, that's why she's pissed.
On my side, it has nothing to do with the scope of this conversation we're having right now.
No, you're broadcasting
now,
it to Discord, and I understand that. That's fine. But do not perform.
Please? Or are you going to keep looking for motives to impugn me?
You see, she's not this nice person she presents herself.
I think we're good with this call. Yeah,
I think we're good
I'm
too.
good with this
we're
call.
We're going to drop
you...
it. I recognize he was on Discord the entire time, but the moment, I think you need to. Nope, sorry. I understand that you probably have a group of people on your Discord that are cheering you on right now as you own me. And that's fine. I don't care what they think, but I will hold my grounds. If you speak to me in a disrespectful manner,
this is all an act.
Especially if you are doing it performatively, I have no respect for that, and will never. Hi, Discord. Ready to take another call?
This is all an act.
Let's talk to Min.
Okay, so how do you think I did?
Okay. You got a B-. Okay, you allowed her to railroad you down semi-related rabbit trails, okay, and which is it's understandable, okay, because when you're calling in, anytime you call in, you're going to get nervous, okay, and it's easy to get distracted. You know, they control the scope of the conversation, but that outrage that she just gave you was fake, okay. The reason why she did it is because somebody told her in her earpiece, okay. There's people in here. There's at least one or two people in here that are reporting, okay, or oh no, you know what it is? This is being streamed on YouTube as well, okay. So somebody reported to her that our YouTube and I'm in this channel and that you're a part of this Discord server, right? So and once it was reported to her what was going on, then she decided she no longer wanted to talk with you. So what she gave you, she tried to take something that you said and then to blow it out of proportion with this fake outrage. This was a phony act. This was fake righteous indignation. It was in order to get rid of you.
So what did you think about the motive mining point?
I missed that part.
Yeah.
I accidentally clicked on a wrong button and it switched to another channel, and I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, I threw that in at the end there before they disconnected me. But the thing is, I understand what you're saying about the rabbit trailing. I was just trying to, present myself as I'm listening.
It's okay. It's not easy. Listen to me. It's not easy to stay laser beam focused, especially when they are well practiced at prevarication and rabbit trailing. It is not.
From JJ.
What's that?
I got a message from JJ. He said you got busted.
We didn't get busted about. What do you mean we got busted? We didn't get busted about anything. We're not. Listen, if we were trying to hide the fact that we were listening in and we were streaming this, we wouldn't have streamed it. We're not trying to hide anything.
No.
Okay. Not at all. There's nothing to be busted. All I'm telling you is this. Okay. 1 minute she acknowledges what she said, that she's a hard atheist, that there is no God. But then she changed her tune and says that she thinks that all God concepts so far presented are not coherent. It doesn't follow from that all the God concepts presented are incoherent, that therefore there is not a coherent definition of God. Okay, her position is that there is no God, period. But because she couldn't defend that, then she switched to her atheism or theological non-cognitivism, saying, "Oh, I want a coherent definition of God," and that's when you went for the worm on the hook. Okay, you went for a two of an extended definition. You should have told her this. You should have said, "God is that which is fundamental to all possibility and is a mind." Okay. And then that's it.
Multiple times for her.
She doesn't care. Look, they're not. I know they're not. Look, she's not an honest person. Neither is this guy. He just monologued. Right now, when you say there is no God, okay, that includes all God concepts that she's familiar with and ones that she's not. Okay, so she baited and she switched. Bait and switch. There is no God. Period. Okay, but then she says, "Well, all the God concepts I've heard so far are not coherent." Well, first of all, that's a bunch of crap. That's just rhetoric, right? Right? This is absolute just rhetoric, and you know why they get away with it? It's because theists do not press them on this. Okay.
But did you hear what I said? Was she didn't listen to my definition? Is that all I said?
No, she couldn't. She couldn't repeat it back to you. So again, what we saw here was classic prevarication. That's all she did. She is the queen of prevarication. That's why we're now calling Shannon Q Duck Lips. Okay, Miss Teen USA South Carolina 2007. Okay, the Iraq.
I just said, well, whatever motive mind you want to do to impugn me and whatever discourse sounds you're hearing has nothing to do with this conversation right now. Okay, so let's get back to atheism, and they didn't let me and disconnected me.
Yeah, so in other words, somebody reported to her either on her screen or in her earpiece that you're from a Discord server, and that it was also that this server was also streaming what we're saying in here and this video to another YouTube channel. Okay, and what you saw there, it was not. She wasn't really outraged. This was all an act. Because the words that she focused on, yelling at you like you were some disrespectful third grader, right? You were not being disrespectful at all. She just took that as an opportunity to go into her Emmy Award winning performance of righteous indignation. You didn't say anything inappropriate. She's a fake and she's a phony and she's a fraud. She's a manipulative broad, okay? There are some human beings, men and women, who know how to put people on the defensive when they are pushed into a corner for their position. So what she tried to do was turn the tables on you and put you on the defensive. Okay, that was not real righteous indignation. That was an act. By the way, did you get that, Tom Rabbit?